mean, BlockFi is over, kind of, so I feel like people
It's
are holding
not.
on to it.
It's
Is it not?
so not over.
Oh,
So
okay.
start recording because actually this is interesting.
Okay, in case you guys weren't aware, I've made very clear that I'm a Celsius creditor, but I was also a BlockFi creditor as well, although I left much less in BlockFi. I think my distribution was about $112. So Louis is going to give me an update on what's going on with BlockFi because honestly, I haven't been paying that much attention since I didn't leave the lion's share of my portfolio in there. But what's the update? Louis says that the bankruptcy is not over.
Well, so like this goes back to
Also,
what
wait,
we.
is there an ambulance by you?
Yes.
Okay, should we wait till it passes?
I'm gonna shut the window.
Okay.
I look like Professor Xavier from the X-Men right now in my little
You
chair.
do. You do.
I can read your mind, young lady.
So apparently the BlockFi bankruptcy is not over, according to Louis.
Well, it's not over at all. It's not over until I say it's over. It is really not over.
Serenaded.
So to understand the BlockFi bankruptcy fully and why it's not over, we just need to go back in time real quick. BlockFi, founded in 2017, whole team, Zac Prince is kind of the CEO. He's not in jail. He works in real estate now. I actually found his LinkedIn.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Wait, I've spoken to Zac Prince before. He followed me like right before BlockFi shut down withdrawals, and I messaged him, wait, since FTX went down, is BlockFi fine? And then he read it and didn't respond. So that was my only interaction with Zac Prince. But he's in real estate
was
now.
not fine. When FTX filed, BlockFi was shortly thereafter filing.
They were not fine.
It was a pretty interesting thing. So like basically the whole premise of lending out crypto doesn't work purely on the basis that when you're lending an asset to someone, usually money, it is with the expectation that that person is going to do something with that money that is creating a positive economic return. So like, I will lend you $1 billion to build an office building. You know, that has a positive expected return. Like, if I'm lending you crypto so that you can speculate on more crypto, there's a big risk there because you're not really creating any new value. And so with what returns are you going to pay my interest on? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you remember this, but we talked about this in the past. There was like a big Widowmaker trade in crypto. The Widowmaker trade in financial markets usually refers to a trade that's like a you can't lose doing this trade. And it was the GBTC trade where you bought Bitcoin, you gave it to Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, they locked it away, and there was this premium that you could collect if you just hodled for long enough, for 6 months. And everybody, that is the source of all the bankruptcies, because that premium became a discount and everybody got blown up on leverage on that. And the source of the leverage was Genesis, BlockFi, Celsius, like all of these companies where you deposited your Bitcoin and they lent it out to, unfortunately, there are very few funds that were actually willing to borrow crypto to gamble with the crypto. You know, so you ended up with like 2 mega funds, Alameda Research and 3 Arrows Capital. Lo and behold, like both of those guys kind of went belly up, right? Like it didn't work out for either of those funds. So when 3 Arrows went down, BlockFi was like, we have a problem. FTX came in to rescue BlockFi with a $400 million loan. And like, why was FTX doing that? Well, Sam was like, I want to save the crypto industry, whatever. But
so
he
benevolent.
So benevolent, right? But he really had a bunch of loans out with BlockFi that he didn't necessarily want BlockFi to call back because that could cause the doom loop for Alameda and FTX, which it eventually did.
I mean, I've asked Sam about this and Sam still denies it. He's like, I was just worried about the contagion in the crypto industry. You know what? He was actually worried about the contagion, but just for himself. But
yes, he was just for himself. Or not. I mean, it's difficult to judge intent. Maybe he was just worried. Anyway, what's kind of funny, I guess it's not funny, but like there's a lot of like red flags that happened. BlockFi only filed for bankruptcy on November 22nd, 2022. You had a lot of time to like see the like ink on the wall. Like Celsius happened, Voyager happened. You have uh,
Oh.
3AC. I mean, the fine with the government happened. Technically, you were supposed to remove your money if you were not an accredited investor. Nobody did. I mean, the writing was really on the wall and people were just not paying attention. I don't see any reason to believe that fraud was happening, but it just looks like a lot of the people involved were a bit dumb.
So you don't think he should be indicted or in jail or anything like that? You think?
I have seen no evidence of crimes. Like, being dumb is not a crime. And like, to be honest, no offense, Tiffany, but like, you weren't paying attention, right?
Well, I was actually paying attention after Celsius collapsed. I was like, I need to move my money out of BlockFi. So I actually had another couple Bitcoins in BlockFi that I moved out. Your girl, so smart, so
Boom.
intelligent, incredible investor.
Using your telepathic skills.
Yes, follow me for
Okay.
investment tips.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was smart. What's kind of like funny is that after they filed for bankruptcy, because the rescue money isn't coming along, and it becomes somewhat clear that the collateral that Alameda had used to borrow the money from BlockFi was not something that they could pledge. It was fake. It was the Robinhood shares. And Sam had
Mm.
technically stolen that money from creditors of FTX, from
So Sam
customers.
pledged the Robinhood shares to BlockFi. He also then claimed them later as his own, correct? Because he wanted to use them to pay for his legal fees.
It didn't
And
work
they
out.
also should belong to like FTX creditors as well. The Robinhood shares just got tossed around.
Yeah,
And
and then the U.S. government just confiscated them.
yeah, makes sense.
After the petition day, it turns out that all of the U.S. dollar cash that was left over in BlockFi was in SVB, which is in and of itself like pretty scary. They had 227 million in Silicon Valley Bank, and like,
Oh,
the FDIC protection technically stops at 250K, so that would have been like a giant mega rug pull.
oh my God.
Yeah, the government did bail out SVB in totality because the FDIC insurance is kind of a like open secret that it goes way above 250K. They don't want anybody losing money in banks.
Yeah.
Um, Understandably so. So what's left? They've distributed all of the money that was available to distribute in BlockFi.
Mhm.
What's left?
Quick pause, but I know a lot of you who follow me are FTX creditors patiently waiting for your payouts. At this point, it seems that FTX creditors will likely be made dollar whole, but we still don't know when exactly you'll see any money back. Well, that's where ftxcreditor.com could come in very handy for those of you who have been patiently awaiting your payouts but want access to immediate liquidity. FTX Creditor will buy your FTX bankruptcy claim and pay you immediately in USDC. FTX Creditor has actually bought more FTX claims than all of the other claims buyers combined. Unlike some other claims buyers, FTX Creditor even buys small claims as low as $1,800 all the way up to claims as big as $10 million. The process to sell your claim is simple. Just go to ftxcreditor.com, fill out the forms on their website, and within 24 hours they'll reach out to you to schedule a Zoom call. If you decide to sell your claim to FTX Creditor, they will pay you immediately on the Zoom call in USDC. Buying claims is a really expensive process, and FTX Creditor has figured out a way to automate a lot of that process, making it much faster and cheaper, and they pass on those savings to creditors by offering them higher prices on smaller claims. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that my friend Louis Dorini is often on my channel just to talk about the FTX bankruptcy, and Louis is actually the co-founder of FTX Creditor, so if you have any questions that you'd like to ask him directly, you can reach out to him on X at Louis Dorini. And for those of you international creditors, Louis is fluent in French and speaks decent Italian. FTX Creditor also has translators, and you can reach out to them on Telegram at FTX Creditor or on X at FTXCreditor_com. FTX Creditor actually also buys Voyager, BlockFi, and Celsius claims, so even if you've already received your initial distribution from any of these companies, FTX Creditor will buy your stub, which is basically a claim to future payouts, for example, from lawsuit settlements. So if you're interested in selling your FTX claim for immediate liquidity or selling your BlockFi, Voyager, or Celsius stub, you can go to ftxcreditor.com or contact FTX Creditor on Telegram at FTX Creditor, on X at FTXCreditor_com, or you can reach out to my friend Louis Dorini on X at Louis Dorini. So shout out to FTX Creditor, and back to the video.
Well, there's the 3AC claim, which is kind of fucked because I think they have settled this. They have figured out a settlement, but it is not public. Three Arrows owe BlockFi $129 million, but BlockFi managed to get $284 million out before the petition date of Three Arrows, which I don't know if you remember the concept of preference exposure. In bankruptcy, basically, if you prefer one creditor over another in the 90 days before it files, you get that creditor to bring his money back into the pile.
Oh, right. Like clawbacks.
Clawbacks.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
technically, BlockFi has a 227 million. What was the number? 284 million clawback to Three Arrows. So I don't know what the recovery on that is.
So wait, so Three Arrows owes BlockFi that, or the
No,
reverse?
Three Arrows owes 129 to BlockFi, and technically BlockFi owes 284 in preference.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
so fun. So I
Do they
don't
just
know.
cancel out? Do they
Probably,
negate?
probably.
Okay.
That means
Oh,
BlockFi
and
gets
I
nothing.
told you that Suzu asked me to interview him, so that may be coming, maybe.
Cannot wait. I'm
But
very
you'll have to
excited
help me
about
think of questions. If anyone watching wants to help think of questions in case I do end up flying to where Suzu is to interview him, then let me know. Okay, continue.
I'm going to think of some questions for Suzu because good on him. And then there's the Alameda stuff where there's like 874 million in loans to Alameda Research. I think it's less. I think they had like a 250 million FTX account.
Uh-huh.
So there was a big settlement for 874 million for BlockFi. So BlockFi
Oh.
is going to get a payment.
Okay.
Like there is
Okay.
going to be a second, a third, and probably a fourth payment, unless they sell the Three Arrows claim or something. If it has any value, maybe it has no value, and so there's only a second payment.
So basically, BlockFi creditors should expect another check, basically.
Yes,
Okay. Do you know how
maybe in a
substantial the
year
second
or 2 years.
is? The second check substantial compared to the first? Because I mean, my first one was only $112, so I don't know if I should be expecting more than $112, less.
No,
No.
less.
Oh, good.
But it's something.
It's something.
It's
And for people who
something.
left more in BlockFi than I did, then maybe it could be substantial for you. I thankfully did see the writing on the wall and did move out most of my money from BlockFi. I think I left like a few hundred, maybe like a little less than 1,000, or I don't remember what I left in there. But
It's something, and that something needs to be, considered. So, there's people like me who are going to come around and be like, hey, you know what? That's something in 2 years. That's worth X to me. Do you want to take X?
so Louis purchases bankruptcy claims, basically. So if someone has a BlockFi claim and they don't want to wait for that second payout, but would like to sell their stub to Louis, you can do that. You can
Yeah.
message
I mean,
Louis.
I'm, making it up as I go. I don't know what the second payment is. And we can talk about the bankruptcy where I've lost money uh, buying stubs. Like, you don't always win, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
You're taking an educated guess and you're taking risk by buying these
yes,
bankruptcy claims and stubs, but you hope there's a payout. So, but
exactly.
if someone just, yeah, but if someone just doesn't want to continue paying attention to BlockFi for another fucking year and just wants to get out of bankruptcy, then feel free to sell your stub to Louis.
And
Maybe I'll sell
he'll,
my stub to you because I
yeah,
already don't pay attention to BlockFi. So, like, I'll sell my
that would be
stub to you.
fun. I'll probably
Yeah,
lose money on that one too.
you probably will. Louis is willing to potentially lose money on your bankruptcy stub, but you'll get some
Uh,
cash up front.
yeah, and I can tell you how I got screwed by Celsius. Still have not gotten my distribution,
So Louis purchased some Celsius claims and still hasn't gotten any payout from it.
and I'm
How
not
does
getting
that?
crypto.
Yeah, you're so Louis is getting rugged because he bought a Celsius claim and isn't getting crypto like the rest of us. Is that just what happens when you transfer a claim? Do they just is that why you're not getting crypto because you bought the claim from someone
I
else?
genuinely don't understand why I'm not getting the crypto. They're saying it's Coinbase doesn't want a process, and so hey, relax.
Is it like a KYC thing because your name and stuff doesn't match the original claim
I
owner?
honestly, could make anything up. They're like, this is how we're gonna screw these guys, and it's gonna
But
be
we're gonna screw
effective.
you.
Yeah, and what am I gonna do? Sue them and
Yeah.
lose more money? Like, no, give me my money and fast, I'm going to take this one on the chin and whatever.
So are you potentially losing money on the Celsius claims that you bought, or
I think
we'll
I'm
see?
flat.
Okay, well, glad you put in the
Um,
effort to buy those claims and might come out with no no return.
it's not the end of the
It's risky
world.
business. It's a
Yeah,
risky business.
I should have just bought Bitcoin. I would have been much
You should
happier,
have just bought Bitcoin. You're not
much
the smartest
easier.
investor.
No, I really am not. I just know how to do one thing, and a hammer just knows how to hammer, and that's
Mhm.
what I
Buying
think.
distressed assets and waiting and sitting on your ass.
Yeah,
Louis is good at that.
I
He's
am
not
not
good for
good at
much.
seeing the number move on the screen.
I'm
It
not
gives
either. Oh,
me anxiety.
I've definitely panic sold. I've definitely FOMO bought. I'm not a good investor, so I just gave up.
That's where we're at with BlockFi.
So it's not over, and BlockFi customers should expect another payout. But when will that payout occur? Who knows? Could be a year, could be longer. We don't know.
I think it's definitely longer than a year because all
Okay.
FTX creditors have to be paid out first.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So over a
Um,
year, you're gonna have to wait till FTX bankruptcy concludes to get your second payout.
I'm a little disappointed that Zac Prince has gone into real estate.
I want to
Although
hear about this.
maybe,
Tell me what
you know,
Zac Prince has been up to.
I don't exactly know. I'm going to look it up on LinkedIn. The problem is I look to these pioneers for my industry as like, oh, what is this guy going to come up with next? What is the next bankruptcy this guy is going to figure out for me?
Hmm.
There's usually a cycle, but Mashinsky's not on his first.
What do you mean Mashinsky's not on his first?
I think he's blown up a few companies before.
Oh, yeah, true. That's why. That's another reason why I think he deserves more prison time than Samuel.
He deserves more prison time for so many reasons.
He would
Um,
definitely reoffend too.
One, Zac Prince looks like a really nice guy. I've never met him
He
before.
seems like a really nice guy, so this
I
video
like
is
his
not meant
picture.
to shit on him. I also respected the fact that he was willing to chat with me a little bit, but he didn't answer my final question, which was, oh, this was the day before FTX filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. On November 10th, I said, hey, just wondering how BlockFi is faring in the FTX meltdown. I remember hearing about a purchase deal between the companies, so was wondering if you were able to speak on it. Also completely understand if you're not able to. And he was not able to speak on it. And then BlockFi, both FTX and BlockFi then soon filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So that was my Zac Prince experience, but he seems like a very nice man. I'm on his X right now, and I am seeing a bunch of real estate stuff. Well, he
Yeah,
really pivoted.
total pivot. I think this company is about cost segregating in real estate, which is to save money in taxes. That does not sound like it's going to file for Chapter 11.
Maybe he's doing well.
Yeah, likely. Maybe I should prod him to do some crypto trading or something.
Maybe
Something
you
that could go
should.
belly up.
He seems like a nice man.
I'd like to end this video on, because I don't know if we can do a whole video on it, but my
Uh-huh.
favorite bankruptcy and the one I'm probably going to lose money on is Prime Trust, which most people didn't have money on. It wasn't like retail people, but it was companies in the crypto industry using Prime Trust as their like trust company for holding assets for customers. And they just lost the keys to their ETH wallet and then started gambling with customer funds, and no one's gone to jail.
Do you think that the Prime Trust CEO or the C-suite, do you think that they deserve to go to jail?
Well, what I don't understand is that isn't it criminal to commit fraud like that? And the FTX recovery is likely 100 cents on the dollar, right? At the petition day prices. Prime
Mhm.
Trust is lucky if they get 3 cents.
Wow, it's really
Yeah,
that bad? 3
it's
cents?
that bad. And like what they did was they even put money into Luna, in Terra Luna. What?
So they just like
With
completely evaporated all value.
Well, I don't know what's an ETH wallet that you can't open worth. It's got like 70 million bucks on it.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Damn.
damn.
So is no one looking at this as being potentially criminal? They're just skating
Not that
by.
I can tell, and it seems pretty fucked up. But like, stay tuned because I'm gonna do more research on this, and
Louis doing the digging.
we're gonna do the digging. You're the
Yeah.
journalist. I mean, you could figure
I
this out.
say I kind of just wait for Louis to read a lot, and then I'm like, come back to me when you've read a lot.
I will do that. I promise.
I'll take the credit though.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Samuel sits in prison for 25 years
It
and
seems
FTX.
unfair. It seems unfair.
I know. Because one of the main arguments for why people tell me that they think Sam deserves a life sentence or a really lengthy sentence is that they say, well, people were hurt. Do you know how many people he's hurt? But, companies like BlockFi and I'm not saying that they're the same at all. I think that Sam did commit fraud. But I'm like, companies like BlockFi, Voyager, and Prime Trust also hurt a lot of people. It's just that, like, they also did hurt a lot of customers.
I mean, there are companies like DuPont that like released PFAS into the water supply and like it gave a whole fucking town cancer and like nobody's going to jail, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
true,
let's be real. Let's be fucking real. You know,
true,
yeah, we live in a
true.
pretty like weird society where the rule of law is applied somewhat politically, I think sometimes. But
Mhm.
maybe that's just my dumb take.
No, I kind of agree with you. I mean, I'm not going to say that I've looked too deeply into that story, but like I agree with that sentiment.
Also, like Sam's defense was like the worst, most horrendous thing ever.
It
I'm
was
not
really
a
bad.
lawyer. You're not a lawyer, but like I don't know anything about criminal justice, but I could tell just listening to your reviews of the trial, it was going so bad. And yeah.
I know it was really bad. Like I wanted them to do better. It'd be nice to have watched like a more fair fight and watch them neck to neck, but it was just so clear from like day 2 that Sam was fucked.
I can't remember her name, the prosecutor. She was basically like Maximus in the arena. Like, are you not entertained?
Danielle Sassoon, she's like a short, blonde, cute little firecracker. And there were moments at which I was watching her prosecuting, and I was like, I'm not gay, but am I kind of attracted to Danielle Sassoon? She's just got such a powerful, strong presence. It was kind of hot. I'm not gay.
Wow.
I'm not into women at all, but just saying that about my compliments to Danielle
The
Sassoon. She did an
comments are going
excellent job.
to light up now. I have a very hungry dog staring at me for
Okay.
affection, so I'm going to go feed him.
Go give your dog affection. It's been fun as always, Louis. But just to reiterate, Louis does buy bankruptcy claims for FTX, Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi. Even though Celsius, Voyager, and BlockFi have already given their initial distributions, there are potentially more to come. And if you're holding on to a claim or a stub, I guess you call it, then Louis buying them up at ftxcreditor.com. So I'll put an integration in this video, but
Yeah,
Louis is my buddy.
we're friends.
It's always fun talking. Go take care of your dog.
Come on, you. I
Talk
got
to you
I got
soon.
headphones for him so he can get on some podcasts.
Oh, cute. We love every time Otto gets on the podcast on the channel.
On the channel. All right, Alta, let's go.
Bye, Lou.
Bye. Bye, Tiff.
Enjoy.